Big Run is coming soon. The Salmonid are rising up and they are going to take over Splatsville. But what if I told you this was something that was foresaw a long time ago? In fact, it was a written prophecy that this day would come, and it could actually tie into the lore deeper than we think. And there's secrets and hidden details that you probably missed within the reveal trailer of Big Run. You might want to buckle up because this isn't just an extra fun game mode that we're getting for the new season. In fact, it's something that even ties in deeper to the lore. So get ready for some interesting facts about how Big Run could be the end of Splatsville or a new beginning for these Inklings and Octolings. There is a very interesting sunken scroll in Splatoon 2. It was one that we didn't have a clue what it meant at the time, as Salmon Run was just beginning. But it stated, when smoke rises from the 7 rings, the pink fish will emerge from the sea, devouring all the creatures of the land. The Book of Madai, chapter 10, verse 10. The image that we get depicts a biblical scene, as we get an image of 2 Inklings running away from a sea of Salmonid that are coming from the ocean. Of course, in the sky, we have a giant cloud with 7 giant holes beaming light out of the clouds, and it's unclear what this even meant at the time, but it seems to trigger some type of mass invasion of the Salmonid to the land. The very next scroll has an image that states this appears to be a painting from the Middle Ages. It depicts a great migration of salmon said to occur once every 70 years. Now, the migration of salmon could simply just be what Salmon Run is based on, and that's why it wasn't in the first game. It's the 70-year mark, or maybe this actual catastrophic event of Big Run is the 70 years when it's time for them to all migrate together into the mainland and feed on anybody that's there. So what's the point of talking about these scrolls in Splatoon 2? Am I trying to say that these Big Run events were actually foretold all the way back 5 years ago? Well, yes. If you look at the trailer right before it switches over to the Big Run announcement, yes, you'll see that image again from that sunken scroll in Splatoon 2. This pretty much concludes that this was actually a prophecy that came true, and this is actually happening now in Splatoon 3, and yes, it's based off of that one prophecy in that one page of that historical book. But one thing we're missing is it says that when smoke rises from the 7 rings, the pink fish will emerge. Well, where's this 7 rings and what smoke? What are they talking about? Because there really doesn't seem to be anything referring to that. Or is there? One thing that you'll notice is different about Splatsville is the fact that the sky is now completely changed to a dark, gloomy, dark red with black clouds everywhere. It's definitely a gloomy situation compared to normal Salmon Run. Yeah, they're not playing around this time. However, there's a specific scene that I want to stop and talk about, and it's this one. It's the only one where we get a clear view of the background. And yes, if you look in the background, is a giant massive cloud mass over some type of island shining light down on it. And if you look closely, you can see 7 beams of light shining down. The 7th one is kind of hard to see since it's so far away, but yeah, there's 7 beams there. And of course, this is the same scene that's going on from that picture. Yep, the 7 rings with the smoke coming from them, and it seems to be doing something to the Salmonid in order to have them invade. But what is it doing exactly? But you can look at the Salmonid and they don't seem to change that much. They all look the same, there's nothing different about them, there's no different colors or eye tensions. For instance, when the glowflies come, their eyes turn red, but nothing's really happening here. They're just invading. And it seems like they just want to take over the land and take over everybody on it. So what's the deal here? I mean, at first I thought we were the villains, the one killing all the Salmonid to collect golden eggs for Mr. Grizz to turn everybody on the globe into mammals. But after all, Mr. Grizz wasn't the only villain. In fact, it looks like the Salmonid are also bad as well, and if anything, he was also helping us. What's interesting is the Salmonid really never took over. This was a prophecy that hadn't come true yet until now, and the only reason why it may have come true is because of recent events of hunting these Salmonid for their eggs. So, maybe in turn of us hunting them, this is what happened. We caused this mass migration, and now all these Salmonid are taking over because of what we did to help Mr. Grizz. After all, when we did go hunting the Salmonid, we went out in the middle of the ocean on like an oil rig to fight these things. It's never like they were invading our town or our space. They were just doing their own things and we went out to go fight them, not the other way around. Notice how it took them a long time to develop new versions of their weaponry and also new boss Salmonid popping up from the ocean as well, as if they were training to get better and to finally defeat these Inklings and Octolings that's been killing off their species. But what if Mr. Grizz was the one that triggered this? He's the actual trigger for this prophecy. He's what what made this prophecy come true by making you go hunt these Salmonid, and they were never really a bad species in the first place. They're just defending their home now after we've already made the first move. Now they decided to take over everything, not just on their own little individual islands, but take over everything from the Inklings and Octolings and completely run over Splatsville, and the entire world probably. But the question is, what is this cloud with these holes and these 7 rings opening up in the sky? Why is the entire sky able to turn a pinkish red with black clouds everywhere? What's causing this? Well, one thing that I keep bringing up is this is all placed over one single island, and I know it looks like the Salmonid all come from the ocean, which they probably do, but what if they all actually live on an island somewhere? In fact, that's where they come from. They travel from the island through the water and then onto our island, and maybe this is where the Salmonid are from, this giant island in the background. Now, we do know they're going to be invading everywhere, meaning the other maps as well, so I don't know if this cloud is going to appear there too in different locations, or only on Wahoo World, because this is the only one we've seen so far within all the trailers and gameplay, and it's the first one where Big Run is taking place. So maybe this is the only map we get to see this cloud and the beams of light coming down onto this Salmonid island, and maybe this is kind of showing us where maybe a future story could take place, and maybe we get to visit that island one day. It also might make the most sense why Wahoo World was picked first, because it's technically the closest to their island. It's the first place that they were able to reach before spreading into the other maps, which would be really cool and a really nice way to world build all these maps. They're not just random locations, they're actually in unique geographical locations within Splatsville, and this one's obviously the closest one to that island in the sea. What is that cloud? Is it like the ink storm where they made one giant one and threw it up in the sky in order to be kind of like a big alert for all the Salmonid that it's finally time to start invading? Is that what the main purpose was? Because that would be kind of cool, like a big signal saying, alright, it's go time, let's start invading. I don't think it actually gives them any power. I don't think it gives them any energy or anything. Maybe the energy to swim all the way to the mainland or something? I don't know, but it might be developed by them, or maybe something that happened from the apocalyptic events before us. Maybe there's something in the air from the nuclear fallout, or maybe even the scientists left something behind that the Salmonid were able to get their hands on. But something else that I wanted to bring up was another picture from the Sunken Scrolls in Splatoon 2. This picture shows a little Salmonid organizing his weapons and a little calendar and his clothes hanging up and stuff like it's part of his home. Well, they're an actual intelligent species. I mean, I think we knew so from some of their contraptions that they built, but the question is, where is this house at? Is it actually on that island? This could be one of those weird things like SpongeBob where he's technically underwater in his house and it just doesn't look like it, but I don't know. I almost want to feel like this could be that island and they all have homes over there and that's where they're coming from. But I really hope that they make this into a story thing as well and not just an additional game mode. I hope it expands and we see changes within their battle strategies and things that they switch up, like maybe even a new boss Salmonid coming, and maybe there's like a king or queen Salmonid over there that is going to eventually come over with whatever they design as a mecha contraption, maybe a giant robot Salmonid or something that we're gonna have to group up and fight at the very end in order to finally wipe the species off the earth or something. I would love to see a grand finale where it's like 5 of us or even 8 of us all battling these things at once. That would be amazing. Let me know, guys, what you think about this Big Run event coming very soon. Is it going to tie into even more story lore? Are you excited for that? Let me know your opinions down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Splatoon 3 all the time and help us reach 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I can't thank you guys enough. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one.